777. What are those affirmations, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you are still logging in, you're logging in this evening. Drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from this evening. I see you, Michigan, Chattanooga. All right, keep dropping it in the chat. I am a BYOB master trader. I am the signal. All my trades and in profit, I am 777. There you guys go. I see you dropping it in the chat. So now you can add to, just don't take away, right? Add to, just don't take away. I see many of you are consistently adding to your affirmations. I definitely see the consistency in adding to those affirmations. And I see the consistency of those of you all who drop it in the chat. Now, as we get started here this evening, once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tasha M. Dyer, the creator of the BYOB Cash Out Strategy, otherwise known as the Trade Whisperer. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. And so as we get started here this evening, what I want to do, right? What I want to do, because we are so excited. We're excited about everything that's been manifested and everything that's been transpiring. But I definitely want to open the line up, and I want to give our visionary an opportunity to share some things with you this evening. Mr. Rogers, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to just say thank you to each and every one of you. We've had the opportunity to put it in our Telegram group, but I wanted for those of you who are here this evening, we want to help you understand how much we are tremendously appreciative of you. For those of you who decided to take advantage of the Beyond Bank Hidden in Plain Sight book, we are extremely grateful for you continually allowing us to pour it into you and your families. And then I also wanted to take the time on tonight before we get started. Uh, I want us to, and if you guys could be in agreement with me, to appreciate the diligence of the trade whisperer herself, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer. I mean, I think about the continual effort that she pours out to making sure that your families become financially sound, economically empowered. So if you are in agreement with me, I think it's just apropos because she does this freely, tirelessly, and the reward that she obtains is just definitely seeing each and every one of you drop those 777s in the chat. And I just wanted to personally appreciate her this evening before she gets started, how we are tremendously blessed that really you have an individual that truly loves people. And there's no doubt in anyone's mind on how and why she does it. And we thank God for the anointing that's on her life. And because, ladies and gentlemen, we do 40 plus calls per month, 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday, and Tuesday and Thursday evening. And so I just wanted you guys to celebrate her this evening in that regards. And even to the point where often, we want to make sure that you guys be the signal. But she gave a hint out this morning regarding Bitcoin, and I just saw so much in the chat today. So if you took advantage of her hint that she gave a shout out early this morning, I need you to drop a 777 in the chat if you were able to take advantage of that Bitcoin. And ladies and gentlemen, it is our true desire that we believe that leadership is designed by us as individuals, leading ourselves. And if there's anything that I want many of you to take away from this conversation tonight, is I'm trusting and believing that the spirit in which Ms. Dyer and Dr. Bythewood operate, our only prayer and our only desire is that you catch the spirit and how and why we do what we do, that we can make sure that over the Thanksgiving holidays, heading into the holiday season, Christmas, that you are really adamant about making sure that people get an opportunity to get exposed to this information, enroll in the academy, because you guys have a unique opportunity in the midst of things that have been hidden in plain sight, the luxury that you and we have. So if anybody could be in agreement with me, because I know when there's agreement, when there's unity, there's a commanded blessing. So I just wanted to speak a blessing over your business tonight. I want to speak a blessing over your mind and your heart to serve and capture the essence of the servanthood of what Ms. Dyer offers. And I just want to bless you tonight, Ms. Dyer. And I want to tell you publicly how grateful and thankful I am for what you and Dr. Byth would do, making sure that families are being changed because of your diligence, your desire, and your consistency of showing up Monday through Thursday and Tuesday and Thursday night. So I salute you. Back to you, Ms. Dyer.
Well, thank you. I greatly appreciate that. And that's the call, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm just kidding. But I just want to say thank you. And I mean, it's just always about, making sure that we put you and your families on the other side of money. When you think about the fact that this information was not known to so many of us. And so this is definitely, what it's about for me. So that's what. So as we get started here this evening, I just definitely want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you to each and every last one of you guys. And as you are logging on, just keep dropping it in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Just keep dropping it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from. We definitely want to get this call started. But also, for those of you all, this is your first time on the call with us, your first time here with us. Let me get a 111 in the chat. And I'm definitely talking about BYOB market talks. Definitely talking about BYOB market talks. So this is your first time here with us this evening. Let me get a 111. And if you are still learning how to cash out, let me get a 222. Still learning how to cash out, let me get a 222 in the chat. All right, welcome, 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 and welcome back. Welcome, 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 and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So just a little explanation of how this call goes, a little understanding of how this works. I just want to thank each and every last one of you guys once again. You see I'm a little speechless, but we're going to get this call started. So definitely want to make sure that, so for my 111s, let me officially welcome you, okay? I want to officially welcome you. For my 222s, I want to welcome you back. Welcome back. And a little understanding of how this call works, right? How these work. So Mr. Rogers just made mention of the fact that we empower you. We empower you to be the signal. He just made mention of the simple fact that you are the signal. And that's what this is all about. It is about financially educating and impacting you. That's what this is. And then also, I just want to make sure that you guys understand these calls in the evening are how we educate, how we teach, where we take you to that next dimension. And then of course, the calls in the morning are where we take the skill set and you help you navigate it in the markets. All right. That's what this is all about. And so that's what this call. And so tonight being Tuesday, it's really just been a power-packed Tuesday. I have to say that, but tonight is all about making sure that we go back to the basics. Tonight is about the basics. And so understanding that tonight is about the basics and understanding what tonight is all about, that's where we're going to begin. Now we're going to talk about the strategy, but I also want to talk about that Bitcoin because there are a few things that I definitely want to point out about that as we get started. So once again, it's not often you get a signal from me. It's not often when I say, hey, and that's exactly what I did this morning. I was like, cough, cough, hint, hint, take the Bitcoin trade. And so we're going to talk about that first. You see, I have it up on the screen. We're going to talk about, and there's a reason why I want to talk about it. We're going to talk about the strategy, BYOB cash out strategy. And then we're going to, I just want to make sure you understand that. And I want to make sure you understand that time frame Confluence, because that is what this is about tonight. Now, as far as this Bitcoin, all right, as far as the Bitcoin, let me put the pivots on here. And so, because I want you to understand something, I don't know how fast it's going to ride up. I don't know how soon it's going to get there. you know, we don't know those things, but I want to point something out to you all who are trading it. All right, I definitely want to put you in a winning position. And so we'll just do a little follow up from this morning and then jump into tonight's training. All right. So we've been riding this Bitcoin. And as you can see, Bitcoin has been rising, right? That's what we're on right now. So we can get full view. I'm just dropping the stochastic down. As you already know, no matter what time frame we're on, you see that we are significantly in that overbought, right? We're overbought. So you see I'm on a 4-hour chart, we're overbought. We talked about that this morning, all right? We talked about that. We definitely had that conversation. But it didn't really matter because of the fact that that's what's pushing the market. We understand the market moves with your technical analysis, it moves with your fundamental and your sentiment. Now, the technical analysis says there's absolutely no way it should have still been buying, right? However, and when we get to that blue line cross over the red, when we go through the strategy of the stochastic being the leading indicator, right here, one thing is that blue line cross over the red and around the 80 in a downward momentum. We never had a downward momentum. So I don't care what time frame we're on. And this was just a little correction that happened today. But as you can see, no matter, look how long this has been riding up, okay? I actually dropped the pip count for the cryptocurrency in the Telegram chat earlier today. So you guys can see that now, because I've been asked about counting the pips, I want you to understand that with cryptocurrency, they all count differently. That's just the reality of it. I didn't make the rules. I didn't do that, but I wanted you guys to be able to see how it works. Now we're reaching all-time highs again with Bitcoin, okay? We're definitely reaching these all-time highs. And in reaching these highs, one thing I want you to understand and one thing I want you to see is that as you're seeing right here, now, I put the pivots on here for a reason, okay? I put the pivots on here for a reason. Now, you can see, I'm gonna move this one out of the way. This is yesterday's pivot. This is why I like these pivots. Once again, I'm on an hour chart. These are yesterday's pivots. Now, I'm still gonna bring that support resistance line on top of that pivot, because remember, that's all it really is, but you see, this is where it got held up. So now we already got the 7/7s in the chat for those of you all who have taken profit. And you see, we've been kind of paused here for the last couple hours, right? We've been sitting around here. And so what happens is doing nothing. What happened around here is correcting itself. What's happened, you know, what happened as it came through here? This was, look at how much longer it was there. That Bitcoin moves in impulses. I mean, that's just the bottom line. It's no way, you know, you want to understand the vehicle you're in. You want to understand how it moves. You want to understand those things. Now, as we're going through this, if you have a question, you got a question in the chat, you know, just kind of drop it in the chat and I'll get to it. So if you have any questions as far as anything that we're discussing tonight, you know, you want to put that in the chat. But what you're seeing is, look at what is happening. You see that it's been rising. Now I want to share something with you. Okay, I want to go back and I'm gonna have to go to the monthly to kind of get there. Now, the last time that this was this high, look at this, was 17/18. Okay, December 17, January of 18, and that's the last time. Now you can see we're reaching that all-time high. All right, we are reaching that all-time high. Now, I want you to know that when it breaks through here, okay, we get a breakthrough on the top end. We still got those Hikinashi candles. They're still in those trend candles where it's pushing up. It's just kind of pushing hard against it. Now, we're going to get to, look at where we are. You get to about that 18.2, somewhere between, you see that's like 18.15 is that pivot line. But you get to around that 18.2 to that 18.6, right? That's the next point where you kind of see where we're looking at. All right, so just kind of want to kind of bring this to your attention, and I want you to understand it can reach 20,000. Okay, I want you to understand it can. I'm not telling you it's going to do it before it does any pullback or any drawback, but it's been rising significantly. The reason why I wanted to discuss this tonight, you saw how nice it rose up, you saw how nice it came up. But there is something called a blow off top. When something rises like this, it can fall just as hard. So you can initially think it's a correction, but it can really be a shift in the momentum and all those buyers pulling out of the market. So this is an education. Like, this is just an education. This is to help you understand that when it buys up to this point, when it buys as fast as it's been buying, as strong as it's been buying, is you know, just understanding how significant it's been buying, and you guys have been eating well. So I want you to make sure that you're putting those take profits in. I mean, you're putting those stop losses in. I want to make sure that you are trading. Perfect practice makes perfect. I don't want anyone to get caught in that blow off, right? I don't want anyone to get caught in that. So when is it going to happen? I can't tell you that. Like, I can't tell you that. I can tell you where I'm looking at, where it's going to go, what it's going to do. It has to push through the point that it's at right now. But I just want you to understand what's anticipated, what can happen, what the market can do based on, I mean, if you look at how this has been buying, we really have not had any significant pullbacks. We really have not. Even you see that none of our corrections, none of them have reached a bottom down here. None of them have. It's just been a nice blow up. It's been a nice push up. It's been a nice rise. It's been a very, very profitable rise, right? So any questions, comments on that before we actually get into the training for tonight? I mean, technically that's training too, but any questions, comments, or testimonies in regards to the information that I just shared? This is basic, so I just want you to understand that it, and let me go back. Let me put this back on the monthly. I want you to understand. I'm looking at it can possibly go to about 12,000, you know, when it does that. But you know, I definitely look at what it did the last time it did that. So last time it peaked this high, look at how hard and how fast it dropped down. Now it took the year, but I mean, it took the year for it to really get all the way back down here. But look at how hard it dropped. In the month of February, it dropped. It peaked there and it dropped all the way back to $5,800. So I'm not telling you that that's what's going to happen or how low it's going to go, but I want you to understand and I want you to be mindful of as you're taking these trades. So that's our next strong, you know, that's our next strong resistance line that's happening right there. So take profit, get excited. But we've had training on the psychology of the market. If you did not go through that in that playlist, right? It's all in that psychology of the market, all right? If you have not, I'm glad you like amazing information. Good to know that when we post that playlist, Trading the BYOB Cash Out, there is some training in there. And one of the training is market psychology. One of the trainings in this is the psychology of the market. That's actually in the book. So just understand the psychology. And so when you really, you never want to forget that these are people, these are people actually making transactions. You're just not making transactions. You're just not the one making a transaction. So, you know, you're the one taking profit off of the transactions that are taking place. So always remember that these are people. And so you want to go watch that psychology of the market, you know, to understand market cycles, market flows. So normally it'll take a nice little while to ride up and then it'll pull down and it just moves in cycles. And I just showed you a cycle with Bitcoin. You know, when we pulled up the monthly chart, just kind of showed you the cycles. Now, how do you stay in profits? It's as simple as moving your stop loss up. So it's just that simple. Having a stop loss in place and moving it up. Putting in a trailing stop loss. Once again, that's also in that playlist that I'm speaking of and referencing. You know, that's definitely also in there as well. So you say you listen and you watch and you took action. Now, yeah, I mean, some of you guys might still be riding it. Some of you guys might still be sitting in it. I mean, I've been in the trade for quite a while. I used to scalp. I promise you, the super scalpers, that's how I can identify you guys. That was me. I mean, I began trading that way, where it was like blue close, blue close. Blue means profit. You know, you see the blue and you close a trade. See the blue and you close a trade. And that's how I started trading. So I used to be a super scalper, but now I know how to scalp, and I also know how to allow my trades to sit. Somebody got, why you got your hand over your face? But, you know, and so, today was the first day you hadn't scalped. Growth. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with scalping, but, you know, like I'm still sitting in this trade. And so, but, you know, you just have to have that stop loss. you know, in place. So I'm very comfortable with my trades. When I take a trade, I know how to put my phone down and not stress and walk around staring at it all day. You have to trust your analysis. You have to be able to trust the process. You have to be able to trust what's going on in it. So, I mean, that's just where I'm at. So what I'm doing is giving you a little bit, you know, so because I know that's just not common knowledge. That's just not something that you're going to just up and find, right? That's just not how, you know, that's going to work. So I did give you that cough, cough, hint, hint, and you guys made significant profit, but I don't want you to get caught up in the euphoria of riding this wave up. So I just don't want you getting in that euphoria of that. So, so just so you can monitor this from a non-emotional standpoint. So let's go ahead and talk about the BYOB cash out strategy. You say you get in there, but that's you see blue in this out. So there is nothing different about trading crypto. As we go through this evening, we've had the same conversation about the indices. Now, what I will tell you is what we're about to discuss. And like I said, I'm slowing it down just a little bit, but what I'm about to discuss, it works on everything. I mean, even when we come here and we use the tools, you see the Forex, you see the crypto, you see the indices right here, you see the metals. So it's all there. The strategy BYOB cash out works on everything. Now, if you want to trade something other than basic foreign exchange pairs, you want to trade something other than, you know, just my 10 pips and cash out, your skill set comes from learning the skill set. And then you take this strategy and apply it to everything. And I know why you asked that question, but I don't need a different rule and a different strategy to be able to trade the Forex pairs and then do it different on the indices, then do it different on, you know, I don't need it to be different on the crypto. It's all the same. And so now if you want more than your 10 pips and cash out, there are some basic fundamentals that you must learn. You must learn how to do your support and resistance lines. You must understand what a trend is and the trend lines. Those are things you must learn. Those are things you must understand. Those are things you have to, you know, build your skill set. Now we start here, basic Forex, right? I have 2 foreign exchange pairs pulled up. We start here. And I was just trying to see, was this gonna break for you guys? But you know, if we got opportunity to make some money, we're gonna make the money. But this is definitely in that buy. So if we have an opportunity, we're going to take the money. But we're gonna start here on the basic foreign exchange pairs, talk about a little time frame Confluence to make sure you guys understand the time frame Confluence, and then you develop your skill set and you can take that to any currency. All right, so hopefully that's a little clear. Now, where are we at? Now, right here, we start here with our leading indicators. Now I have a GBP pair intentionally, and then I have a non-GBP pair intentionally, right? So we have this intentionally. Now, as I'm looking at this, we start on a 15-minute chart. That 15-minute chart, yes, that 15-minute chart is the BYOB cash out strategy. Now I'm slowing it down here in the evening so you can ask your questions. I know in the morning, let's practice Zoom courtesy. Make sure you keep your mics muted. I know in the mornings that we're moving. I'm like, blue line, cross over red, flip, 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 move, move, move. But that's the purpose, right? For you to be able to come back to this call, for you to be able to bring your questions back to the evenings, for you to be able to put your questions in the chat, right? So that's what this is all about. And in the morning, we're just looking for the trades. We're just looking for the analyzation. We're lining things up, right? Based on what the market gives us. I can't predict the market, we ride the wave. So if it's 10 trades on a call in the morning, we'll take 10 trades. If it's 0 trades on a call in the morning, we'll set up 10 trades. We'll set up, we'll just go through there and see what the market is feeding us that morning. And that's just how that works. Now, right here, I have my blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum. And then I have my green candle with a flat top, PSR flip to the flat bottom, PSR flip to the bottom. The BYOB cash out strategy uses 3 simple indicators. It's already in the vibrata. It's already loaded in the vibrata. There's no need for you to adjust anything. There's no need for you to change anything. There's no need for you to do any of that. So right here, and where'd it go? And so right here, what I'm looking at is the BYOB cash out. So now, So right here, you see, I got that blue line cross over the red in an upward momentum. I have my green candle with a flat bottom and a PSR flip to the bottom. So think about it, bottom, 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 and then you think about it, top, top, top. All right. So you think about it from that perspective, okay? I want you to understand that. So kind of think bottom, 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 top, 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 okay? So now, what I want you to see right here, where we have that blue line cross over the red in an upward momentum, okay? You see that right there. Now, what I'm looking at right here is that green candle flat bottom. That is the BYOB cash out strategy. So this is what was back tested. This is what was back tested. Now, you see right here, it's consistent. Now, you notice with the GBP USD, you see where it just triggered for a sale and it triggered back here. And then also, as I'm looking, you know, right here, the GBP AUD, those two currencies have been triggering for most of the day. So when I see that blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum, I have a green candle with a flat bottom, PSR flip to the bottom. Now, I actually wanted a sale. That's what I wanted. I wanted a sale. Let me get it right here. This one was, now I see that one, but it was a little choppy. I want to give you something a little bit clear as we understand and we navigate these markets, okay? So as I'm looking at that, and I mean, you see how this sale turned into this buy, to this choppy sale, but you know, it doesn't matter. It's still a sale. Actually, we got a flat top candle right here. You had no idea all that was going to happen behind it, right? Anytime you're looking at the market, you're looking at space and opportunity. And so you had absolutely no idea that all the rest of that was going to transpire behind it. So I'm going to put an arrow right here too. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that in itself is the different trade opportunities that we've had. Now, all of them trigger here, and I'm going to talk to you about the power of this tool in just a moment, okay? I'm definitely going to talk to you about the power of this tool. Now, so I just want you to understand how significant, how powerful it is. Now, when you look at this, so we already see we all have the blue line crossover, okay? You look at how far this one started back here, then the blue line cross over the red, blue line cross over the red, right? The consistency in that. And so you see, then of course, these two, I don't care which one comes first. They both just need to happen. You see in this one, we got PSR flip before we got the candle, before we got the flat top candle. On this one, we got a flat top candle before we got the PSR flip. Both of these are lagging indicators. They're lagging, they're lagging, they're lagging. Both of them are lagging indicators. Now, time frame confluence. All right, I'm going to slow it down for just a moment. Time frame confluence. So with time frame confluence, okay, time frame confluence, okay, let's talk about that for just a moment. I really want to make sure that you all are with me on this. So when we drop down, now if I go to the 5 or the hour and the 5, guess what? It doesn't matter. I want you guys to put yourself in a position to where you're thinking. I want you to put yourself in a position to where you're feeling the market. I want you to put yourself in a position where you're not, wait, she said 5 minutes, then an hour, but wait, I checked the hour first. You know, I want to eliminate all of that tonight. I just want to eliminate all of that second guessing. I want to eliminate all of those feelings, those stomach churns. I want you to, and getting a demo account, the more you plug in, those 777s are coming from individuals that are plugged in. That's who they're coming from. Those 777s are coming from individuals that are plugged in. Those 777s are coming from individuals that push the button, right? So you can look at your phone and analysis paralysis can set in. I'm looking at, do I take the trade? Do I not take the trade? It's only one way to know if you should take the trade, and that's push the button. Do you wait for it to do I wait for this? Do I do that? Push the button. Get into the market. That's why we have demo accounts. This is the easiest thing that you will do, but at the same time, it's not hard at all. It's so simple, but you can overthink it and overcomplicate it by not pushing the button, by staring at the screen, by analyzing the charts, by doing all of that. But when I see an 8-year-old and then I see an 11-year-old that are actually trading, and I'm mentioning them again because it just happened, and I mentioned them this morning on a call, I believe, but then, oh my gosh, today they rolled Bitcoin. Let me tell you something. Push the button. An 11-year-old kid pushed the button and was in profit. All right, push the button. Now, right here, when you look at this, you see that I want to go to my hour. I'm going to the hour first, and I'm doing it on purpose. So yeah, and morning, yeah. Oh, thank you. You answered the question for me. It's at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. Thank you very much for that. So when I come here, I need the time frame confluence. Okay, time frame confluence. 5 minute. I mean, on the 15-minute chart that we're starting from. On the 15-minute chart, it's the hour and the 5. It's the 5 and the hour. It's the hour and the 5. It's the 5 and the hour. In the mornings, you'll see us go to the 5-minute chart. I want you all to start trading on the 15. The 15, the lower you get on the time frame, the more movement you have. So it was a while before I would even do the 5-minute with you all. And that took a while for us to start because I needed to get you guys comfortable with those trades. So on the 5-minute, it's the 1 and the 30. You're using what's called a factor of 4, 5, or 6. So if I'm on the 15, I don't need the daily to be able to take a trade for 10 pips and cash out, and vice versa. I don't need that. But you see that the higher time frames we view to help you understand what's happening in the market. So it's what's called a factor of 4, 5, and 6. Simple multiplication. So if I'm on the 15-minute, multiply that by 4, 5, or 6. And that's how we get the hour. All right. That's how we get the hour. That's how you figure out your time frame confluence. Now, right here, if I'm looking right here, I'm looking for this to move up into a buy. I can't take this trade right now. I can't do that. For one, my time frame confluence must be confluent. I'm on my 15-minute, right? You see that's looking for a buy. That's in a buy. This is in a buy. When I come to the hour, my hour also needs to look like it's going into a buy. Now, what does look like mean? Look like means it's setting up. So for example, this, I have a blue line crossing over the red. I have a red candle, but I have a wick coming out of the top, and I do not have a PSR flip. That looks like a trade that I'm waiting for a setup. That looks like something that if I was sitting on the 15-minute, you wouldn't even ask me a question. You would really just be sitting there waiting on that to transpire. It looks like, right? That's what that it looks like means. Every time we say looks like, that's what looks like means. So right here, all right, looks like, it's starting to cross over. It looks like right there. Now this one, we don't have a look like. Now, what I will tell you about this one, let's finish them. So this one, I have a look like. So I got a check here, and then this one for that buy. This one, you can see it's kind of looking like it's pushing up. So we're going to change the color of these two. Now this one is, I'll leave this one yellow because we do have a green candle and it is officially crossing over some. But this one, I'm going to change the color on this one intentionally. Like I'm going to change the color on this. Actually, let's not use green. Let's change the color right there on that one. So now I'm on this hour with this time frame confluence. Now this is where GBP comes in. This is where we have that exception to the rule. Now this is why I wanted a GBP pair and a non-GBP pair. Okay, so right here, as I'm looking at this, you see, now I'm gonna actually bring this over because I'm gonna make it bigger and bring it over because I want you to see. I want to make sure everybody sees this. So as I'm looking at this, this is still pointed down. It's that we haven't got this crossover yet. That happens in the next hour or toward the end of that hour. And then of course, right here, you do see that this is a doji candle. Now, what I will tell you about this candle is we've seen it. You saw it this morning. It'll go from green to red to red to green. So it could have been green when we looked at this. It could have been green. It could have. So those are things. So now that I know that this candle is pulling back, I know that they look, because look at how they flow. Like you see how it's green and it gets, but you see how this candle is a little bit fatter, and before these candles start to get smaller where they're turning around, well, same thing. We have a red candle, it pushes down, so it's in a sell momentum. This candle pushes down, it protrudes down further than the one before it. So we're in that sell, right? We continue to stay in that. Now this one's pulling up. Now, and my stochastics doesn't have that point down. It's not curving up, but it doesn't have that point down that we're looking for. So what does all of that mean? What does all of that mean? Now I can check my 30-minute. So this is where, as you begin to get comfortable with the market. Now, why does GBP give me an exception to the rule? Well, GBP gives me an exception to the rule simply because it's GBP, because of the amount of liquidity in the market. That's why it gives me that exception to the rule. Now, you notice that I put this on here. I put this blue line right there on the hour, but look, it's off to the side. You see the arrow, that's why we put the arrow there from the 15-minute chart. That arrow is actually where that 15-minute falls. Remember, the hour has 4 15-minute candles. So so when I'm on the hour, so this just, so don't get too caught up on where this is right here. So it's the arrow that I dropped on the chart, so you guys can actually see. It's the arrow, right? That's right here. Now, as you understand this, and I'm looking at this right here, all right, as I'm seeing this, what I see is I got this green candle. My stochastic is pointed up. The amount of liquidity that GBP puts in the market is why, okay, is why I literally can do this. That's why. All right. All right. So now that's time frame Confluence on the hour. Questions, comments, testimonies. Questions, comments, testimonies. Questions, comments, testimonies, drop it in the chat. Questions, comments, testimonies. The exception to the rule on GBP, I'll explain it again. Now, what GBP is because GBP has a lot of liquidity. So when we're talking about liquidity, I can just come back and randomly pick something, right? Let me just come back and randomly pick something. So for example, just to really show you the difference, okay? Is there one that pulled? I want to show you. I don't want to pair it with a GBP. I just wanted to see if we actually got one that pulled from here, and I'll come back to it. So no, we do not. What's the best time? Let me come back to that. Now, and I might just try to pull that up. So look at this. So this is on the hour. So I'm on the hour. And look at this on here. Now, of course, because it's with the USD, but I'm on the hour. So typically CHF, right? CHF does not have a lot of liquidity. I'm trying to give you a comparison. Okay, GBP, I just didn't want to pair with GBP because GBP has so much liquidity. It just right now, I guess in this time frame right here, it just has a lot of liquidity in it. But the reason why GBP is that exception to the rule, you guys have been on the call with me and seeing where this is like 13 pips. So I'm not going to just try to pull through here and make it be 13 pips. But you guys have been on here where you see a CHF, regardless of what it's paired with, and that CHF has little liquidity. But then when we come to a GBP pair, GBP has a lot of liquidity. GBP has, USD is the most common currency. It is the major currency that's in all the major currency pairs. And then the crosses are calculated using USD. And then also when you take when you look at GBP, GBP has a lot of liquidity. On a GBP pullback can be 100 pips. So that's why it gives you that exception to the rule. The time frame Confluence, we just talked about how it is a factor of 4, 5, and 6. Now, if you're not there yet, you're just getting started, don't do it. Stay on the hour. You can, it's no, just like, right? I'm telling you, you can grab 10 pips and cash out, or you trade to the support and resistance line. For example, if you have not been able to identify support and resistance lines as of yet, which means you're still in that learning process, like I can just look at this chart right now and I can drop support and resistance lines on here. You know, I don't have to switch it back over to the line chart like I teach you, you know, all of those things. I can just look at the chart. But when I first started trading, I could not just look at the chart and just drop those lines on there. That comes with perfect practice making perfect. That's how that comes. So I'm saying that because I know that I can do my 10 pips and cash out, or I can trade to my support resistance line. That gave me 18. You know, that gave me 42 instead of 10. So just like there are phases to learning, there are phases to learning. And just like you had to learn 1 + 1 = 2 before you started trying to multiply, you know, before you started trying to divide, before you started trying to add other things to it, we started with the basics of something plus something equals something, right? So that's the basics. Blue line cross over the red, you know, blue line, flat top, flat bottom, PSAR flip, time frame Confluence, 15 hour 5, right? So that's your basics. That's that 1 + 1 = 2. Then you start adding to it. Because if I would have pulled this chart up like this, you know, as we got started, you would have been looking at this chart saying, oh my gosh, what is going on? But as I added to it, as I layered it, it makes sense. It doesn't look like a jigsaw puzzle. It doesn't look like a coloring book. It doesn't look like those things. It doesn't look like an EKG. It doesn't look like any of that. It looks like some candles on some charts, and I understand what's going on. But had I opened it up like that, you'd have been asking a million questions. But because we layered it, so you want to layer it. You want to layer it as you begin your education, and you want to push the button. So best time frame to trade, and when following compounding, is you ride the wave of the market. Don't try to predict the market. We just trained on that maybe about a week ago. And then Dr. Bythewood came behind it and did a very great explanation on a talk with the finance doctor about not trying to predict the market. Going back to the election, trying to predict the market. We train on it, we talk about it, but we did not have a call on the day of the election. We did not have a call on the day of the election because what's typical, what typically happens, what we normally say will happen, and what happened. There was so much activity and so much movement in the market that day. Then we got up on Wednesday morning, it was like sleep. It was crickets. It was nothing moving. So that the expectation, don't try to predict the market. You know, you want to understand, yes, London session, most liquidity. We just talked about GBP, but does that mean that's the only time I can trade? Absolutely not. The market's open 24 hours. Anytime I trade, I'm going to compound. Compounding is based on how many pips you're trying to get in and what's in your trade account and your risk percentage. That's what that is. So, you know, that's what that means. So can I clarify the hour looking like a trade? It's real simple. What does a 15-minute look like looking for a trade? If I'm on the 15-minute chart and I'm waiting on the PSAR to flip, that's looking like a trade I'm waiting on. That's what I said. I said it's looking like a trade I'll wait on. So if I'm looking at this right here, for example, right? If I'm looking at this right here, for example, all right, as I'm seeing this, I see the blue line cross over the red. Okay, actually, let's come back up here to this one. I see blue line cross over the red. I see a red candle. I can't take that trade, but it looks like it's about to sell. I can't take this trade right here, but it looks like it's about to sell. So nobody ever asked me that on the 15-minute chart because we know what we're looking for. Blue line cross over red and downward momentum. I got my PSAR flip. I'm waiting on that red candle with a flat top. So I never get that question on the 15-minute, but I get it on the hour. That's because you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. You're waiting on a setup. What does it look like? Now, I'm not waiting for the setup because I'm not trading on the hour, but it needs to look like a setup that I'd be waiting on. So blue line cross over the red. Got it. Right here. Red candle. Have it. Do I have a flat top? Do I have a PR flip? Absolutely not. But it's beginning the setup. It's beginning the setup. So if my confluence was the 15, you see, it's beginning the setup. It's beginning the setup right here. You guys will sit there and wait on this to manifest. It's the same thought process. It just develop that relationship. Thank you for the confidence. I pushed the button and BTC. Support and resistance lines. I just gave that out. Support and resistance lines. If you're trading anything other than this, then on a 15-minute chart in a traditional, when I say traditional, GBP USD, AUD JPY, if you're trading anything, even your indices, I don't care what it is. If you're trading anything, then that's just like I just said, that 1 + 1, that 2 + 2, you know, if you want to start dividing everything, you cannot multiply if you don't know how to add. You can't divide if you don't know how to add. You have to use your support and resistance lines. You have to use your support and resistance lines. You have to use that. So you have to use that. There is a compounding sheet. We're not going to have time to pull it up tonight. There is a compounding sheet, right? There's a compounding sheet on the website, www.beyourownbankmovement.com. There's a compounding sheet in the files, on the files tab. That compounding spreadsheet is right there. So yes, and it's all that's broken down on that sheet. And also, I'm gonna go back to that playlist. That playlist that I'm talking about, trading the BYOB cash out, becoming the signal. That's in that one. We talk about trailing stop loss, and also there's some where we talk about the compounding as well in that playlist. So go back and watch that playlist. I guarantee you it is going to help you. Thank you for dropping that. Now, any questions specifically to the time frame confluence? Any questions specific to the time frame confluence? Any questions specific to the time frame confluence? Because I want to highlight something. I really didn't even need this other currency, did I? I don't think I needed it. So I want to go here for just a moment. I want you to understand the power of this tool. All right. And you notice that I always come on here. Okay. I always use this one. Now, of course, there's another one that you can utilize, actually located inside of the IM.center, where every single tool is located. But when you look at this tool, like we're talking about time frame confluence, the BYOB cash out strategy, you know, breaking that down. And we're talking about time frame confluence, okay? We're talking about time frame confluence. And if you notice right here, read what this says. It says your revolutionary software enables you to trade like the banks. Now, I want you to understand the power of that statement right there. It enables you to trade like the banks. Now, that enablement, right? You know, that enablement to trade like the banks is because this tool was vetted. Now, IM has some great tools, and we've trained on some of those tools and actually bring it back to the vibrata. Why do we always bring it back to the vibrata? Why do we always utilize the vibrata? Why, you know, is the vibrata saying trade like the banks? Well, this tool was actually vetted and compared to what the big banks of the world utilize. Now, we say big banks, I'm not talking about, you know, I'm talking, let me just back up. I'm talking about the big banks, right? The banks that make moves in the market. We're talking about the big banks of the world. And why is that? This is our visionary, the gentleman that you heard at the beginning of this call. Now, this is Mr. Gerald D. Rogers, the visionary of this movement, and he has a background in investment banking. So I want you to understand the power of this. If you believe that a bank is not using signals, if you not signals, but using tools, I'm reading a comment in the chat. I'll answer that in just a second. But if you believe that the banks are not utilizing tools and things that are available to them, I want you to shift that mindset mentality. Success leaves clues. It does. Success leaves clues. And if we want to do what wealthy people do, then we need to do what wealthy people do and eliminate the mindset that there are things that we do not need, and eliminate the mindset. And I also want you to get rid of the mindset of an overnight get rich quick, because that's not what we're here for. We're here to build wealth. And also in understanding this, as I look at it, I'm gonna play this because it's over people in over 120 countries can access this tool. But I just want you to hear what's heard around the world, and I want you to understand the power and the magnitude behind what I'm sharing with you.
Wow, folks, I'm just absolutely amazed to know that I'm a part of a organization looking to empower and impact lives across the globe. I've been in this space for over 20 years, commercial banking, lending, and when I look at the web analyzer in comparison to what the big banks of the world utilize, that web analyzer is equivalent, far exceeds the expectation that I was anticipating after having that experience on the investment market. So folks, for those of you who don't understand the magnitude of what you have your hands on, I encourage you, I challenge you to take a deeper dive and realize that literally you have in your own hands the power to become your own bank and allow us to be your partner, to empower you economically, financially, and leave a true legacy.
Now you understand the power behind that? So let me answer this other question real quick, because I just really wanted you guys to understand the power in that and understand. So we don't depend on the vibratos alerts. So we didn't train on that tonight, but if in the morning calls, you'll see how we look at these alerts. They're not signals, they're alerts. And yes, we do look at them. Yes, we do. I do teach them. Yes, we do take these trades in the market. Yes, we do look at the setups. They're always called in a correction, right? Because they're not a signal. A signal would be like execute right now, execute right there. And look, thank you. I love it when you guys chime in, because it said, and the training, there is a training on YouTube. So, and then also, why are we using the old web analyzer rather than a new one? This is a personal preference. They're the exact same thing. It's really the exact same thing. So if I was to go to im.center and log in, all right, it's the same thing. So here's im.center. I can log in. I can come down here. Okay, and I might need to widen this up a little bit because it's definitely one of these. So when I come down here to FRX, you can come in here and you select the vibrato, click the vibrato, it's gonna open it up in another tab. And I just preference out, that's just a personal preference. I like the dark background. This one has a white background. The alerts are on this side. On the other one, the alerts are on the left side. It's just a personal preference. It's the exact same thing. On the other one, you got your FRX, your BTC. I mean, you have everything that you're looking for right here. On the other one, they're down here on the bottom. So I just, yeah, so you say it's easier on eyes. It's just a personal preference. Now, what I can tell you that I've been with IM for a little while, and what it does is every tool had its personal website. Well, what they did, which is phenomenal, right? The company took it and they collapsed it and combined it into one. That's where im.center came from. So they took everything, all the education. It's like a university, everything you need. These are your tools, your books, everything that you need to be successful. And then you have the education as well in here. And so you go through the academy, everything that you need is in one location, so you don't have multiple websites to visit. However, knowing Stephen Hooley, the creator of this, also knowing that, the visionary himself is on this one, and then also understanding that I just learned on this one and I like this one. I mean, it's just a personal preference. I've seen some of you all use this one. It's the same candles, right? It's the same stochastic. See the same strategy loaded in there. Come in here and select BYOB cash out, BYOB cash out. And it's just right there. So it's just a personal preference. And my personal preference is this one. And so I'm the one doing the training. That's why I always have this one pulled up. So it's a simple answer, I guess. So and yes, the training. You've been on YouTube for the past 2 days and have helped you so much. I love that. Fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that. That's why that channel is there. That's what that's all about. That's what it's for. It's to put you in a position, but I also want to make sure that you know how to utilize these tools. I want you to make sure that you understand how to utilize what we have. You know, put yourself in a position of a bank. And then, you know, we talked about it, which we'll get a little bit more into on Thursday, understanding how to use these tools is, I mean, even, and because I'm going to take these two bottom ones off, everybody's not a scalper. And we focused on the scalping and the short trades for just a while because we needed to understand the type of market that we were in. And I don't care what the market is doing. So I don't care what the market is saying. I don't care what's happening out there. The market is going to position us to take profit. You just need to understand the market that you're in. We've been in a very, very political market. We talked about Brexit also this morning. We talked about the election a little bit on this call. So Brexit should be by the end of the week, first part of next week, according to what they say, they should have a deal. They should be able to finalize some things. And what's going to happen is political markets have no direction. When we get out of the political markets, we'll have more direction where we're back in our nice, beautiful, trending market. Bottom line, the trend is your friend. But that doesn't mean you can't trade. You see, we're flooded with the 777s. The chat is flooded with 777s. And that's just strictly because we understand how to navigate the market and how to, you know, you just understand how to navigate the market and you understand what the market's doing and you ride the wave. And that's why I went back to that other question. You know, I went back to that other question that I had about the time frame. You know, this is definitely not the time, you know, it's not about time frame. So it's, you know, just for understanding. So it's basically about when you're riding a wave and able to take profit. Oh, thank you. I love that. So you're going to use whatever the BYOB leadership team like yourself is using. So, and look, then you have you all co-signing on that. So you say you need clarity on the time frame Confluence. When are we going for 10 pips? Should be the swing of the market in the Confluence. I'm going to ask for you on the entire call. That's what this entire call was about. And so if you were not, this will definitely be uploaded. Now, I want to use these, this will be uploaded very soon. And I want to make sure that on Thursday, we kind of come back. We did talk about the harmonic scanner. And then I want to kind of implement that harmonic scanner and these tools again, while we understand it as the market is starting to get some of the direction back. We've been seeing from the central banks, but we'll also make sure that as we're doing that, that the time frame Confluence is clear. So this will definitely be uploaded. I don't even think we dropped down to the 5-minute chart, but we did talk about it. But I wanted to emphasize the hour. I also want to make sure that you're understanding that as we're starting to get these trending markets, how I can use the hour and the 4-hour to identify, you know, and drop down to get those tighter entries. So that's where we're going to be headed, you know, coming up here on Thursdays. And no, I did not forget about you guys with HFX. I did not. Just letting the market settle just a little bit more, you know, wanted to get past the election. And, you know, I want to put you in nice trendy markets and, you know, as we introduce something new. So it's still definitely coming. So don't, you know, definitely want to put that out there. You know, we dropped it, but we're going to let the market dictate the process. I did not forget. So we're going to let the market dictate the, you know, the process. That's definitely what we're going to do. The market's going to dictate the process as we introduce something new. Same way we adjusted our trading based on the market, but we hadn't introduced it yet. And that's the only reason why we haven't dropped it yet. So if you haven't gotten your books, go ahead and order your books. Be Your Own Bank, hidden in plain sight. You can order that book at BeYourOwnBankMovement.com. You definitely want to do that. And for those of you all who enjoyed it, most of your books were personalized. Give the gift that keeps on giving. Let's shift some legacies. Let's shift some lifestyles.